at the coin flip. I did not see it, but obviously Michigan won and deferred, and he was yelling for the return unit. You got such a great insight into the hands-on control that Tressel has over this Ohio State football team. Believe me, he is the one who calls the plays. He looks at his offensive chart. He lets the defensive coaches take care of that. But Jim Tressel has been hands-on. Now, over the last 50 years, ladies and gentlemen, and Gary Danielson said, Brent, this is the most amazing stat. Look at this. 24, 24, and 2. That began with the second year of the Woody Hayes regime. And, of course, in the 90s, the Wolverines dominated the Buckeyes. Lloyd Carr, an assistant coach under Gary Moeller. Then he became the head coach, but still the dominance continued. Three times in the 90s, they upset undefeated Buckeye teams. And so now the Wolverines will kick it off with Philip Brabs, 22 touchbacks on 35 kickoffs. There is a little bit of a breeze. We'll see how that helps him here. He'll send it on the ground, fielded at the 7-yard line by Maurice Hall. Hall, who will be the starting running back today, ridden out of bounds at the 26-yard line. So the junior quarterback, Craig Krenzel, and folks note, he is from Utica, Michigan. He is the only Buckeye from the state of Michigan, and here he is, the starting quarterback here today. So the Nivea for men starting lineup. Maurice Hall steps into that lineup as the starting tailback. Claret will come off the bench. Note, please, not a single senior amongst the skill players. Chris Gamble will go both ways, number 7. They open up with a slot formation. Now Krenzel changes it up against a 4-man defensive front, and the Wolverines change their coverage. It'll be Hall, nothing doing, as the Wolverines jump him quickly. Our offensive line, and again, not a single senior. Stepanovic moved from center over to right guard when Bishop went out with an injury through a key block against Illinois. 2 seniors in the Michigan defensive line, Ramashek and Lazarus. The linebackers, 1 senior, but he's a good one. Number 6, Victor Hobson. And Cato June and Charles Drake also are seniors as the Bucks now come up with second down. Krenzel back in the shotgun. 4-man defensive front again for the Wolverines on that inside handoff, and it does not fool Michigan. Scott McClintock drawing a start, steps in and makes the stop. Now there you see the BCS standings. Miami beating Pittsburgh on Thursday night. You can see how close the Buckeyes are, but all they have to do, win this game today, they will be headed for the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl.
That's all? First 2 plays, Brent. Maurice Hall misread both blocks. I think he should have took it upfield. He could have had positive yardage. He misread both of them and did not follow the blocking pattern at all.
And that's why Ross has checked in here. 3rd down. And it's 3 and out on the opening series for the Buckeyes.
Very typical of Greg Krenzel. When Craig does not see an open receiver early in a football game, he just tosses it away. They have the best special team combination in college football. Ohio State will punt the football.
Michigan gets a big assist here. Julius Curry off the injured list will return this punt. And he's facing an Andy Groom, one of the best in the country. Groom drives it. Curry at the 29-yard line. Dances to the 40. And the Scarlet and Gray put him down right there.
Stop by 35.
So it is John Navarre. He has something to prove after a year ago. And he has 16 career 200-plus yard passing games. Our Nivea for men. Starting lineup, 3 seniors for the Wolverines. Their last game against the Buckeyes. Askew, Joffrey, and Bellamy. Benny Joffrey, number 83, is a very talented tight end. The Wolverines will hope to keep Chris Perry running the way he did a week ago against Wisconsin. Jabru gets down with a strong formation to the right. Motion. Edwards, and here comes Perry on the first carry. To the middle, bounces off the first tackle, keeps going almost to midfield. Find a second effort behind this offensive line. Only one senior. The rest of them will all be back. Tony Pape, who switched over to left tackle, has made a difference. Kenny Peterson, the lone senior in that defensive front. Darian Scott will try it today. Two seniors and linebacker for Ohio State. And, of course, both safeties, Mickey and Doss. This their last game against Michigan. Wolverines stay with the power game and Perry for the first down.
We already saw the difference already in this football game. Early, Michigan's running backs going downhill and breaking tackles to start the game out. We talked to Lloyd Carr. He said that he thought the Ohio State defense was one of the best tackling defenses he's ever seen at Ohio State.
John Navarre will attempt to move it with a one-back as Askew. And the Wolverines now show 4 wide. They could be putting it up here from midfield, and they are. Short drop, Navarre incomplete. And John Navarre spoke about the keys to moving the ball on the Buckeyes.
Third and long, I think. They were doing a lot of other things, but they were executing and stuff like that. But I think we're keeping ourselves on a short field. We're gaining, yardage on first, second down and making it easy on ourselves.
Navarre gets the call from the sideline, signaled in. Perry has returned to the backfield. So it's a two-back setup. From two-back, they will frequently throw to Askew. He's a dandy receiver, lined up as the fullback. They'll run Perry behind him. Slips the first tackle, but Doss comes up hard. It was blown up by Kenny Peterson, and then Doss rolled up hard from his safety spot.
Kenny Peterson had a brilliant game last week. Also, Matt Wilhelm in the backfield kind of making Perry stop his momentum forward and then cleaned up by a very quick running defensive line for Ohio State.
That's how dominating they have been. Look at the averages of those teams and what they've done against Ohio State. Now it is third down and long. Passing situation for Navarre. Beautiful strike for the first down at the 35-yard line. Their ace wideout, Braylon Edwards, for 15 yards.
You must put pressure on John Navarre. Michigan goes with a 3-person route. 1, 2, and 3. That's it. Everybody else is back in the backfield helping. Look at that pocket. Nobody to throw to. One guy goes deep, and there's Braylon Edwards. And when John Navarre is able to throw from the pitcher's rubber, that means if you don't move him around in the pocket, he has a very, very good and accurate arm.
Now Perry back in behind Askew. Here comes Perry, stretch play to the right. Short of the 30-yard line as we check in on the priorities here, Gary.
Offensive priorities for both teams. They're really the same in a football game like this. Both teams want to win first down. 3 yards or more on first down. Really, the name of the game today is tackling. Yards after contact in the run game or yards after catch in the passing game. And really, no turnovers. You either score or you punt the ball, score with field goals, or punt the ball.
Bellamy is out to the right of this formation. Here comes the end around. Bellamy bobbles it. And so Reynolds, the linebacker, able to fall on him, and Bellamy coming in the game on the end around.
Yeah, Ohio State had the perfect defense on for this play. They had a corner blitz to the short side of the field. Michigan very fortunate on this handoff reverse to Bellamy that they got the ball back because Dustin Fox was right in the backfield to blow that play up before it got started.
Third down and 11 for Carr's Wolverines. Gamble is the field corner. Fox down to the short side. Navarre gets time, field side. The strike to Bellamy inside the 20-yard line. First down, Wolverines. 18 more yards for Navarre, who's driving Michigan.
Michigan has been running this play since Jim Harbaugh was playing quarterback. One receiver will cross short, and the deep receiver will come across deep. Ohio State has seen this all week. Where is the coverage behind? Where are the linebackers? That's what Michigan likes to throw, that crossing route between the hashes.
Edwards and Butler are the wideouts. Michigan continues to change its offensive personnel on this drive. Navarre's going to put it up on first down, go end zone, incomplete. Threw it out of the back.
That's that matchup, Brent, that Dustin Fox knew he would get. Last week, Walter Young from Illinois burned him. This time they put Braylon Edwards, Michigan's tallest receiver, on Dustin Fox, a shorter corner, but the ball was not thrown in the playing field. That ball must be thrown high into the outside and let Braylon Edwards go for a jump ball and get it at the highest point.
David Thompson checks in for the Bucks, and you can see how they spread the wealth. The Wolverine receivers this year. Tight ends, running backs, wide receivers. Now second down, and they come back with Perry. It is blown up, and there's that man again, number 2, Michael Doss. In on the bottom of that stack, his last game here in the shoe.
And he's been so good against Michigan last year with the 2 interceptions. He is the guy, when you run the ball to the tight end side, he gets in on the play. He's just going to be there. Very tough to block a safety, and Michael Doss has been doing it all year.
See his numbers coming into this game, and a year ago against Michigan, 2 interceptions. Now third down. Navarre backs it off with the shotgun. Askew alongside. Navarre to the middle, deflected, incomplete, and it is 4th down. And here's one of those troublesome 4th downs. During the pregame warm-ups, Finley, the punter, was able to kick field goals from this far out. But now we'll see how he handles it under game pressure.
Well, Michigan has one of the lowest conversion rates in the Big Ten. And the reason is they got a low field goal conversion rate. They're 40% on the year. You almost have to call plays differently because their lack of confidence in the field goal game.
A 36-yard field goal for Finley. Michigan trying to get on the board first. Slips it through for the field goal with the band in the background. The Wolverines come to Columbus and strike first. Folks, in a big game, if it's low scoring, scoring first can be absolutely critical. Timeout. Well, before the game, Jim Trussell walked out of the locker room and looked up at the scoreboard, and the operator had been putting up bogus numbers, and Michigan was warming up, and he said, get that down, but not fast enough. The skilled players of the Wolverines caught an eye, and as Jim said, I had no reason to try and fire up the other team like that. He was pretty hot about it. Here comes Hall now for the Bucks. 15, 20. Down at the 24-yard line. Coming up next now, most of you are going to see upset-minded Michigan State battle Joe Paterno at number 16, Penn State. Other regional action right here on ABC. The BCS Championship, 41 days away. So get ready by heading to ESPN.com. Keyword ABC Sports. At USC-UCLA game, that'll be a dandy out west. Now you can see how they have gone into a tailspin, the Buckeyes, and that correlates to a lot of the playing time that Maurice Clarett has missed. Lydell Ross back in as the tailback. Krenzel's going to throw on first down. It'll be Ross and Jackson, number 3, one of the best corners in the country, comes up, take him on at the 26-yard line. Nothing much doing on that play.
Boy, Michigan is not missing any tackles in this football game. Ohio State is getting the minimum, but number 13 is coming into the game. Let's see if the tempo and the blocking all of a sudden improves for Ohio State.
So Maurice Clarett on the field for the first time in several weeks. One back. Krenzel will throw. Clarett missed his block. It's off to Clarett. They set the play beautifully, and he is run out of bounds for a first down. So Claret, for a moment, looked like he fanned on a block, but it was a planned play, and they threw to the youngster who sprinted upfield.
And look what talent can do. After he catches the ball, goes great, and Claret's going to come into your picture right here, block the end man Stevens, kind of wings him, perfect play for the screen, gets loose, but I watch a great player make another great player miss a tackle. That's what talent does. All of a sudden, those 3-yard plays become 10-yard plays.
So it's a 1st and 10 for the Wolverines. The ball at the 36-yard line. Krenzel back in the gun. They're going to stay airborne underneath. Jenkins on the flanker screen. Fumble! And I believe number 80, Ryan Hamby, the freshman from Cincinnati, pounced on the ball. Yes, he did.
I think Cato June or Marlon Jackson, one of the two, ripped the ball loose. Ohio State has never shown this formation that I have seen. A wide receiver screen. Jenkins comes inside, catches the ball, and then watch. I think it's number 3, Marlon Jackson, rips the ball loose, and Ohio State falls on the ball. But Ohio State has decided to loosen this game up with the passing game.
Brandon Cho now is in at fullback. They're going to offer Claret a little lead blocking here. Show power formation with Hartsock, the tight end to the right. 2 wideouts out to the left. Here comes number 13. The hole is there. Jackson steps up along with Drake, and Claret is bringing the crowd alive. And we go to New York and John Saunders.
Brent, you know Ohio State struggled with Illinois, still got the win. The Illini facing Northwestern, quarterback draw. John Butcher takes it in. 5 yards for the touchdown. The Illini on the board first against Northwestern, 7-0. Brent.
Here, Michigan leading by a field goal, 3-0. Claret on the field for the first time in several weeks, has now been taken out. Being tended to on the sideline. Ross, the tailback, number 30. And whistle before the snap. So Jimmy LaPatina is our veteran referee here today.
To the snap. Ball start. Offense.
Well, let's find out more about Claret's injury. Let's go to Jack Arute.
So, Jack, we're looking at a cutaway of the shoulder here that shows the nerves coming out of the neck and coming down the arm.
And when Maurice Claret got hit on the shoulder, it stretched those nerves.
Yes.
And what now Maurice has to do is rest, because these nerves don't rebound. Only rest will cure it.
Yes, it takes time for the nerves to recover.
Thanks, Chris.
You bet.
All right, Jack, thank you. And Claret's back on the field. Short rest that time. Krenzel stays airborne. Here's Gamble. Could not get to the first down marker. He was wrapped up by Jeremy Lee, Jr. from Holly Springs, Mississippi.
One of the underutilized weapons for Ohio State has been Chris Gamble on offense. Since he's moved over to the defensive side of the ball, people have not seen the type of receiver is, and he's a brilliant receiver. You see LeSueur give him plenty of room, and Gamble has yet to have one of those catches where he grabs the ball and shows that punt return, interception return ability yet on offense.
You'll get an idea about the Buckeyes game plan right here. 2nd down and short. Claret to the middle, slashes free, 30, the difference maker, 20, 15. There it is. Look at the crowd, ladies and gentlemen. They know what a difference number 13 brings to this attack. That's a 29-yard burst now for Maurice Claret.
He's the wild card in this team. Spread them out. All of a sudden, that offensive line that couldn't open up anybody has a guy that picks the blocks, and oftentimes it's the running back that gives that line the juice that you can run the ball. I thought Maurice Hall early just was picking the wrong hole.
Now it's a 1st and 10 at the Wolverine 11 for the Buckeyes. Back with the freshman. Not much doing on this carry.
Was it though? He got hit.
So in the early going down here, and Maurice Claret is coming off the field.
Running the ball to his right means the linebackers are on the inside and coming at that left shoulder, and he got stung. I don't know if it's his left shoulder or not, but I saw right away he got up ginger. So it is 2nd down for the Buckeyes.
Krenzel back in the shotgun. Ross back in at running back. Jenkins is to the short of the right side. Krenzel takes off. And the Wolverines are very aware of Krenzel's running ability, especially the last few weeks. And they crushed the Buckeye quarterback, and I do mean crushed, at the 5-yard line.
Yeah, no running over these linebackers at Michigan. Last week he went over the top of a couple of linebackers in Illinois, but not Michigan's linebackers. Not in Michigan, Ohio State. You're not running over the top of linebackers.
3rd down, 4 for the first down, 5 for the touchdown, 2 wideouts out to the left. Krenzel is back in the gun.
Krenzel's woozy, Brent.
And as a result,
yes,
I think time ran out after that hit. So trying to shake off the cobwebs, he cost them 5 yards.
Play a game. Offense. 5-yard penalty.
Hey, he's out on
Still
his feet
down.
right here. He took those 3 linebackers on head on, and he started walking to the bench before that play, and he really didn't have his senses about him.
The backup quarterback, McMullen, down here on the sideline. That's Scott McMullen. He's a junior out of Granville, Ohio. And Krenzel staying on the field right now, but the ball has been backed up outside of the 10-yard line. 3rd down. Gamble comes in motion. He threw behind the receiver, but interference is called. Jenkins was running a slant. LeSueur with the cover, and the yellow comes flying.
Boy, that ball was not catchable either. LeSueur is trying to play the receiver. The ball was clearly behind Jenkins, and LeSueur ran right up his back. Watch the ball go wide of Jenkins, man-to-man to the top. The ball was not going to be catchable to the outside, and he just rakes him across the head. Jeremy LeSueur, a little bit of a panic on a play. He could have just stuck his hands up, and he would not have been called.
The ball is put down on the 2-yard line. It'll be 1st and goal. Jack, what are you hearing about Maurice?
Maurice Clarett did get a little bit of a bump on that shoulder, but he has passed the strength test that the doctors administer, and he's headed back out to a tumultuous greeting from the crowd here.
All right, Jack, here he comes. A 1st and goal. They're lining up behind the fullback. They'll show power with a pair of tight ends. Here comes Ohio State muscle. Clarett for the touchdown. Can he get there? Yes! Jackson could not cut the freshman off. Nugent for the extra point. Mike Nugent makes it 7-3. Ohio State leads for the first time. Now watch Clarett. 4 carries, 38 yards, 1 touchdown. For the Bucks to win, he has to stay on the field. Timeout. ABC Sports presentation of college football brought to you by Chevy. The cars you can depend on, the cars that last, will be there. Nivea for Men Aftershave Balm, more evolved skincare. And Pacific Life annuities, insurance, and investments rely on the strength of Pacific Life. Downtown Columbus. So the Buckeyes leading 7-3.
Ohio State is a different football team with Clarett, and they don't have to just keep him out there. He might have to just keep going back out there in this game. Even if he gets dinged, that might be the pattern in this game because he's got a bullseye on that left shoulder.
LeSueur and Bracken into the end zone, coming out on the 20-yard line. We'll be right back. John Navarre, the Wolverines, coming out from their own 20-yard line. Chris Perry back in as the Michigan tailback. Hole in the middle. And a nice twisting run. Well, you know, one of America's most enduring images, the Goodyear blimp floating overhead, providing these terrific views of the shoe. The Spirit of Goodyear is one of 3 airships in the Goodyear blimp fleet. Our weather today, well, it is cold, but it is not unreasonably cold. The wind, slight breeze, but certainly not a gale. In other words, it's a beautiful day for Michigan and Ohio State.
Absolutely.
Second down. Woody would have been out there in his shirt sleeves and Bo in his short blue jacket, and they'd have been dueling away. Perry is stuffed here, and now it is time for our Pacific Life game summary. Let's check in on Florette so far. Gary, 4 carries for 38 yards.
He's shown so much difference. That offensive line has been criticized for not opening up holes. But when you got your real guy in there, it's a lot different. One thing I've noticed, Brent, when he runs to his right, he cannot straight arm. And I'm sure that he will run to his right more than his left because he wants to carry that ball in his strong, healthy arm to protect it.
Third down and short for the Wolverines. They show eye power. Askew leads the way. Perry cuts away from the block for the first down.
Michigan will not give up on the run game today. Against Iowa, they ran the ball 20 times in that football game against Iowa. That's an all-time low in the history of Michigan football. After that game, Lloyd Carr said, men, that will never happen again. They ran 20 times for 22 yards. He said, from now on, Michigan will run the ball. We might not get a lot of yards, but we will run the football.
Minery checks in as a second tight end, along with Joffrey. The Buckeyes doing a good job of tying Joffrey up. Navarre trying to get there, and he finally does. And you know who finished that hit up. And Doss, a little shaken up on the tackle, gets up at the 40-yard line, but what a stick by number 2. Well, tomorrow, the LPGA's best, Annika Sorenstam and Kari Webb, they head afield to the LPGA's top 30 money winners. Don't miss final round coverage of the ADT Championship tomorrow at 3 Eastern, noon Pacific on ABC.
Joffrey is huge in this football game. When Michigan establishes their tight end, and Joffrey's one of those tight ends that Michigan has, they're tough to defense.
Second down and short, and here's the power eye for the Wolverines again. Coming right at him with Perry. Difference maker. Doss got over on his ankles, but not before he picked up the first down, stumbling forward, and he's out to the 46-yard line.
Chris Perry put on the big yards last week. Over 170 yards. Michigan, again, with their tailback, Perry, healthy, they run the ball much better also.
You look down on the shoe as the first quarter comes to an end. And it's shaping up like another great Ohio State-Michigan game. 7-3. Back after this message and a word from our ABC station.
This Heisman memory is presented by Suzuki Motorcycles. In 1991, Desmond Howard's acrobatic catches made him one of the most electrifying players ever to play the game. Howard became the first receiver in Big Ten history to lead the conference in scoring. The All-American set or tied 5 NCAA records, including most points scored, most touchdowns, and most consecutive games with a scoring catch. You're watching college football on ABC Sports. Championship Television.
Welcome back, everybody, with Gary Danielson. I'm Brent Musburger. A very important quarter coming up, you would think, for the Michigan Wolverines here being on the road. They need to finish off a drive and keep it going.
Yes, but both sides, Brent, have shown they can move the ball, and I think Michigan's very happy with Navarre's start. Last year at this time, he'd already thrown picks, turned the ball over. Now they say John Navarre has escaped one quarter and playing good football.
Here's Perry, slashes across midfield, and Will Smith making the stop.
Let's talk about John Navarre. Probably played a year earlier because of injuries and Drew Henson going pro, but when you play quarterback at Michigan, you must have mental toughness. John has developed that. When you give this guy time to throw the football, He's got the big-time, big league arm. His only crack, I think, in his game right now is poor mobility, but he's adjusted to that. He's lost weight, and he's much more mobile this year than he was a year ago.
He also has his ace. Edwards is off to his left. Bellamy's down to his right. Here comes Edwards around. They fake it. Perry still got it. Gets away from Gamble, but Gamble did enough to trip him up, and Perry could not maintain his balance. And there is number 7. And so many of you know the story of how 4 weeks ago or 4 games ago, he became a starting defensive back as well as a wide receiver. And his numbers, folks, compare quite well with Charles Woodson's the year he won the Heisman Trophy. 3rd down coming up now for Navarre and the Wolverines. Gamble goes to the field. 3 wide now for Michigan. Navarre steps away from the heat, fires a strike, and it's a 1st down at the 37-yard line. A 15-yard pass to Bellamy.
John Navarre's doing a great job of finding those linebackers and throwing the crossing routes.
So our Aflac trivia question today, who is the last Michigan quarterback from the state of Ohio to beat Ohio State? We got sort of a reverse of it today, folks. We've got a Michigan quarterback quarterbacking Ohio State. Let's reverse it and see if you can remember who that was. A late substitution for the Wolverines. They get 11 on the field now on 1st and 10 inside the 40. Here comes Perry Daylight attacking the corner on that side, and Fox the last man there as they cross the 25. Michael Doss has to come over on still another stop after 12 yards.
I'm surprised Michigan got away with that one. They had 10 men on the field, and they substituted a player that didn't know he was supposed to be in there. He never got to the huddle, and that really misaligned the Ohio State defense, and that's why that play gashed. Jim Tressel was irate on the sideline.
Perry comes off to the sideline. The Michigan rushing game. Perry healthy last week again. Got a little bit beaten up, I believe it was in the Penn State game. He's making a huge difference here with the Wolverines. Out right now, so it's a one-back Askew play fake. They're going to throw from it. Navarre, juggle, incomplete. That was Edwards. Had a crack at it.
Well, I thought Gamble was going to pick it off first. The two probably most highly skilled athletes on the field, one for Ohio State and one for Michigan, are matched up here. Gamble just playing on instincts, outside technique, but watch him close when he sees the ball. The ball's a little behind, thought he catches it, and then it just bounces on the ground. Great call by the back judge on that one. You can see it, Gamble almost gets it, and then it right between the legs.
Now 2nd down and 10. Perry back in at running back for the Wolverines. Perry, Wilhelm, and Reynolds make the stop. The ball is on the ground, but I believe it'll be whistled down right there. So let's go down to Jack, and Jack Navarre, he would really like to come in here and win this one.
And indeed, he changed his whole style. As Gary, you said, he lost some weight, 15 pounds worth. Why? To try and increase and make his footwork better this year. He's gone to what they call progressive footwork. You know what that is? That's where you let your feet help you make your reads down through the progression in terms of receivers. He looks a lot better than he did in the big house 1 year ago.
3 wide now for the Wolverines. Navarre looks for 80. Got him. Dove for the 1st down mark, and the headlinesman right there gives it to him. Well, for another update, let's go to John Saunders in New York.
Brent, we got a couple for you. Wisconsin, of course, trying to get to a bowl. They need to beat Minnesota. Anthony Davis from 4 yards out goes in. And then Tennessee against Vanderbilt. Jabari Davis from just 2 yards as Tennessee scores first. Brent.
All right, John, and here the Wolverines trailing Ohio State 7-3 have driven inside the 20 to the 15-yard line. Askew's offset to the left. They'll run Perry, and Buckeyes were ready. Matt Wilhelm is there again, number 35, the big middle linebacker in his last Michigan game. And if we go back to the 90s, I mentioned those 3 times when the Bucks were unbeaten. You can see back at 93, it was a shutout. Then in 95, Biaka Batuka rolls for 313 yards. And then the crusher in 96. Brian Greasy to tie Screech. Sean Spring slips. Touchdown, Michigan. Now 2nd down.
Matchup one-on-one on Dustin Fox up here.
Navarre. And it'll be an incomplete pass because of the heat from Will Smith. Will Smith was in on top of him, big number 93.
And he had Bellamy. They were going to the fade against Dustin Fox. Terry Malone, offensive coordinator, watched that Illinois film. Man-on-man coverage to the outside, and Will Smith might have saved 7 points on that one.
This tough Buckeye defense. They now come with a nickel package, 5 defensive backs. 3rd down. Wolverines have to get inside the 5-yard line for a 1st down. Guys show blitz, and here they come. Navarre's going to throw it high and out of the end zone. It is now 4th down. Carr screaming that there was pushing down there in the end zone, but no flags.
Yeah, there might have been, but the ball wasn't close enough to really get the official to make the call. John Navarre must keep that ball catchable, otherwise those taller Michigan receivers can't make a play. Edwards against Dustin Fox. Watch this ball. Little jostle, but wait, it lands 3 yards out of bounds. They're not going to get that call.
So Finley, who has kicked 1 field goal here today, will attempt a 35-yarder. Made 1 from 36. He can make it a 1-point football game. And so Finley, who started the year as the punter and is the 3rd field goal specialist, represents the Wolverine offense. 7-6. It's Ohio State and Michigan. Timeout. During that timeout, Michigan coach Lloyd Carr continued to jaw away with Joe Duncan, the side judge, on the fact that interference was not called down there in the end zone, hoping to get one later in the game. Michigan down just a point now, and Childress, Bam Childress, is back deep with Reese Hall to return this kickoff. Hall from the 4. Good return to about the 25-yard line when he's thrown back. And a reminder that on Monday night, it's the Eagles and the 49ers. The Eagles must operate without Donovan McNabb. And the 49ers and Jeff Garcia. The Terrell Owens, that's at 9 Eastern on ABC. And speaking of Garcia, look at NFL history, the highest pass ratings of all time. And Jeff Garcia is right there amongst the legends of the game. And as Gary Danielson pointed out, pays to play for San Francisco.
3 out of 4, huh?
Lydell Ross, the Buckeye running back, behind Krenzel. Michigan with a 5-man front as Hobson moves up. Krenzel continues to throw. Good runner on the move. And Jenkins out of bounds. So Jenkins makes his first catch of the game. Sean Lazarus was applying pressure that time. It's 18 yards to number 12.
You could see those Michigan linebackers, as soon as Krenzel broke the pocket, they thought run, because that's what they've seen on tape. Krenzel smartly again makes the heady play. This guy all year in these 12 wins for Ohio State has been making the heady heads-up play, and now with number 13, he's got a tailback.
So Claret back on the field. Gets the call, trying to sprint out, and Hobson, number 6, won't let him out. Earlier we asked you the Aflac trivia question. Who's the last Ohio-born quarterback to lead Michigan to a win over the Buckeyes? Did you know the answer? Well, let's show him to you. Elvis is in the house, folks. Elvis Gerback, Willoughby Hills, Ohio, led the Wolverines to a 31-3 win back in 1991. And today we have a Michigan quarterback operating at the controls of the Buckeyes. Here is Craig Krenzel, number 16. Hamby is the H-back. Krenzel, short drop, firing to Jenkins as he crosses midfield. short of a first down. We send you to John Saunders for another update.
Brent, we've mentioned that Wisconsin needs this win to have a postseason against Minnesota. Brooks Bollinger, 12 yards to Darren Charles for the touchdown. Wisconsin opening up a 14-6 lead. Illinois Northwestern, John Butcher goes 25 yards to Anthony McClellan. Great throw, and that one is 14-7 Illinois.
And here Ohio State leads Michigan 7-6, now facing a 3rd and 3 as they cross midfield. Krenzel will take off and try to run for it. And closing the door, Carl Diggs, the inside linebacker from Warren, Ohio, stepped up on him. There is number 43 being helped up, and he stopped him short of that first down. This is going to be a big call coming up here.
Well, Tressel has been punting in these situations.
Well, we have a player down, so while we take a break, here is our Pacific Life game summary. We've had 1 touchdown in the game. The freshman, Maurice Claret, scored it. Then the Buckeye defense closing in the last time as the Wolverines threatened, and they held them to their 2nd field goal of the game. So Diggs, the linebacker who stepped into that hole and shut it down, he was injured on the play. They are already a little bit beat up at the linebacking spot because Kaufman, a few weeks back, he was injured, and Zach is out for the season. Joyce Sarantos had played last week. Scott McClintock starting this week, so they're shorthanded there, Gary.
And they've also, at the beginning of the season, really lost 2 of their 3 outside linebackers. Roy Manning was projected to be number 1. He was out, and Lawrence Reed got hurt in the Illinois game. So they've lost 3 of their top 6 linebackers, and Diggs, they cannot afford to lose him.
Well, next Saturday, we've got a great lineup of Thanksgiving weekend college football. 1 Eastern. Most of you will see Ken Dorsey lead the undefeated Canes of Miami against Syracuse. Then at 8 Eastern, you'll see number 8 Notre Dame against number 7 USC. Down south, it'll be Florida State coming to you from Tallahassee. That's next Saturday on ABC, the class of college football.
What, this has got to be 4th and more, not more than 1 or 2 feet. That ball is almost touching the line, and the down marker is almost on the line. I mean, that can't be more than the length of the football on the 50-yard line. And Jim Tressel says, Andy Groom, back him up.
4th down, and Groom tries to hang it high, trying to punt for field position. Doss is going to down it inside the 10. Just let it roll dead right there. Michael Doss was down with coverage. That ball was not going to the end zone. Another good job by Andy Groom. What a luxury. Timeout.
Sorry. Do you have that screwdriver too?
I'm in.
For the great taste that won't fill you up and never lets you down.
Right at that.
Pliers.
Make it a Bud Light.
Nokia 7210 phone. The new pocket translator. We make picture messaging easy so you can see your world in a whole new way. Nokia, connecting people.
ABC Sports presentation of college football brought to you by the new H2 Hummer. Like nothing else. Bud Light, with a great taste that won't fill you up and never let you down. Make it a Bud Light. And the new Nokia 7210 with color screen. Nokia, connecting people. Michigan's third drive of the game. Their first two have resulted, as you look down on the oval in the Ohio State Library here. The Michigan drives have gone 12 plays and 16 plays. Michigan down a point in this game. Perry coming out. Not much doing as Donnie Nicky comes flying up from that safety spot. Let's get an injury update, and here's Jack.
They continue to work on Wolverine linebacker Carl Diggs. It's his right ankle. He rolled up on that ankle, and the athletic training staff has gone to work with it. He is still questionable as to whether he'll return. They brought the gurney out. I believe they're going to take him into the locker room to check for x-rays.
Jack and Donnie Nicky and Michael Doss continuing to operate from the safety spots here in their final game against Michigan. There's Fox making a nice play. Jumper thought he was interfered with. And speaking of Donnie Nicky, we asked him about the key to stopping Michigan today.
Michigan's been running the ball well their past couple games. We've got to shut down the run and take away their intermediate passing game. Make sure we don't get any home runs hit on us.
Just an outstanding safety alongside number 2, Michael Doss. Third down, 3 wide now for the Wolverines. Here's Askew. Doss. And he still goes forward to the 20.
It's 6 for 8 third down conversions for Michigan in this football game. The Ohio State defense that has been so good on their nickel package against Purdue and Illinois have so far been handled by a nice game plan by Michigan. A little screen, a little draw, and crossing routes. There you see that defense. But that passing bugaboo has been a problem.
Butler, a third wide out for the Wolverines. It's Askew again. Wilhelm takes him on at the point of attack, short of the 25-yard line.
Who would have ever thought, Brent, that Michigan would come into a game like this? 9th in the Big Ten in rushing offense and 9th in total first downs. They have really struggled on offense this year, and that's because I think health of their offensive line and health of Chris Perry. They don't have that game-breaking tailback that we've seen in the past for Michigan.
Second down and 6. Michigan continues to operate with Askew as the lone running back. Avant, the motion receiver. The ball is short drop. Wilhelm couldn't get there, and they hit Edwards. Edwards for the first down. 6:46 left in the first half, and hovering overhead today is Goodyear's Akron-based left Spirit of Goodyear, providing the aerial views of today's game. The Goodyear blimp has been, of course, a familiar side of America's sporting skies since 1925 on the wings of Goodyear. First down now for Michigan, so they're driving the ball again. They have driven twice earlier to successful field goals. Askew, Reynolds forces him in on the inside, where Wilhelm is also there, along with some other defenders, but it was Reynolds who forced the play back inside from his linebacking spot.
He did, but Askew did a nice job of getting the most out of that play. I thought that was going to be a no-gainer, but both Perry and Askew are finding those seams early in this football game and making plays that should go for 1 or 2 yards, go for 5 and 6, and for 0 and 1, go for 3 yards. It really sets up second down here.
Second down and 7. Bucks show a 4-man front. Base 4-3. Now they step up into it against Perry, who spins away from the first defender, and Kenny Peterson records the tackle, number 97.
There's another example. Matt Wilhelm is standing right there at the line of scrimmage. Watch Wilhelm. He should make this tackle. Standing right there, and watch Perry make a miss. Spins, should be nothing. He ends up getting 5 yards on the play. That is what Michigan's doing right now. Their yards, it's really yards after contact, and Ohio State needs to make those tackles, and Michigan is moving the ball.
Third down. Staying with the base running game, Askew, and Doss comes up hard, and he stopped at the 45-yard line.
It's going
This
to
will bring up a 4th down for the Wolverines.
Is that the same yard line that Ohio State didn't go for it? Is now where Michigan's got it 4th and inches, or maybe did they make it? It's really, really close.
So the officiating crew will bring the chains out, and we'll take a second look at this one. That ball looks like it's just about right touching the yellow line, doesn't it?
A couple inches either way.
There's a big measurement in this football game early. You can see Doss bending down to take a look. He's right there. Fox comes up now. Everybody wants to see it.
First down.
First down, Michigan. Coming up on the Capital One halftime show, John and Terry Bowden will have scores and highlights today in college football.
Just goes to show you those 2 spins early by Askew and Perry set up the ability to pick up that first down on a play that it looked like it was stopped by Ohio State. Every inch counts in a Michigan-Ohio State game.
Perry is back on the field now along with Askew. They've used single backs with the 2. Well, actually, they've always had Askew with Perry, but they single back Askew as a formation. Jopru blocking well at the tight end spot. Now the play fake. Put it up on first down, and he's got Edwards again, and that's Gamble making a sharp tackle, looking like he's been a defensive back throughout his career on that play.
Boy, is John Navarre on his game. He's not completing them all, but he's making all excellent decisions. The ball is being thrown crisply. He knows where he wants to go with the football. He has not made a mental mistake in this football game. You can tell the difference in a confident quarterback who has experience from the guy that might have played a year early last year when this team was expecting Drew Henson to be their quarterback.
Second down. Here comes Perry. See Grant hanging on, but for the Wolverines, that's another first down. Now, speaking of John Navarre, Gary, you were up and you asked him about this Ohio State defense. Here's what he said.
They're very aggressive, but I think the thing that you see from all the tapes is that they're really fundamentally sound, and they got guys in right places. They know where their strengths are, and that's where they attack you with.
Right now, Navarre faces a first down against this stout D. Here comes Perry. And see Grant over there from his linebacker spot. Was a cornerback, of course. You know the story about number 6. Put on some weight, bulked up a little bit, a more natural college linebacker than being back in the defensive backfield. Coach Jimmy Tressel, like all good coaches who take over programs, who identify talent and where to put it. Put talent in the right place. Such a critical part of good coaching.
Ohio State's coming with their nickel package on second down, matching up the formation with 3 wide receivers for Michigan.
Second down. Bucks show that 4-man front. Navarre fires, juggled, and hung on to by number 19, Bellamy. Fox, the defender, was on him.
Boy, good play calling by Michigan. They're running the ball forward. Their offensive line is handling that active front for Ohio State. And then remember a week ago when they watched the films of Ohio State versus Illinois, they ran slant and go. So what do? You know that those defensive backs have been coached. Don't get beat on the slant and go, so you throw the slant right in front of them. Excellent coaching by Michigan.
Jermaine Gonzalez on the field as a wide receiver. Can Michigan finish a drive? Draw with Askew. Reynolds, number 44, flashes over, and Wilhelm also there.
Well, you almost, Brent, I know this is not the way it's supposed to go, but you almost consider this drive finished right now if they don't turn it over. They've come out from their own 8-yard line. They're going to get a try for a field goal. What a brilliant drive. They have not punted in this first half. First down. They have moved the ball.
Second down for Navarre. Askew, Donnie Nicky trying to hang on to the big burly running back. He's at the bottom of that pile. And Number 25 came up. Wilhelm was over there, 35 also, and that'll bring up 3rd down. So it has been the rubber band defense that Ohio State has featured so far. They have bent, they have bent, they have bent, but they have not broken. And now it is 3rd down. And believe me, the Buckeyes would love to see another field goal shot here. 3rd down now. This will be critical. It's from the 20-yard line. From it, slips inside, and Navarre's inside the 10-yard line for a 1st down. John Navarre making like Craig Krenzel of the last few weeks. He scrambles on 3rd down for 12 yards, and Lloyd Carr indicating he wants a timeout over there. A very critical series. Wants to rest his quarterback. Says, good job, John. He'll talk about it. Timeout. Well, time of possession sometimes can be very misleading, but Gary, here I think it is telling us a story so far.
Absolutely. 15-play drive starting from their own 8-yard line. What, the longest of the year has been 16 plays all year?
That's the previous Michigan drive for the field goal. They will tie that right here. This will be the 16th play on this drive, and Navarre rolling in trouble, gets a sack. Back at the 15-yard line, Timmy Anderson, the junior defensive tackle, was in on that play, number 54.
Boy, you got to give it to this Ohio State defense. Watch the corners inside Fox and Gamble. They do their job. He wants to come back here. There's Dustin Fox. Here's Gamble. Nobody to throw the ball to. Way to go, defense.
Another timeout. 1:09 left in the half. Carr to talk about it again. Michigan trails by a point. 1 timeout down here, and they face the 2nd down.
Thought on 1st down, Michigan got a little cute with the bootleg, but John Navarre needed to bail him out by throwing that ball away instead of losing yards.
John's back in the shotgun. Askew's alongside of it. Joppru's the tight end to the right of the formation. Navarre fires, deflected out of the end zone, and a penalty flag is thrown on the far side. So there is a penalty on the play.
Usually holding, thrown right into the middle of that offensive line. Oh, wow. You know, Brent, when you watch John Navarre, he has great confidence in Braylon Edwards. Goes right at Chris Gamble with Braylon Edwards, even though he had Bellamy match up against Dustin Fox.
There's number 80. Daddy, a player in Ann Arbor, and here he is going right at Gamble.
He sure does. Gamble, bad technique, but he's an athlete. You're not supposed to spin and do that. But what did Coach tell us yesterday? We don't coach him a lot. We just let him do what he wants to do, Chris Gamble.
He comes out. Edwards does against Gamble again to the right side of the formation. The Buck show, the nickel blitz. Navarre throws the jump ball. 2 great athletes, and Edwards has got it for the touchdown as Gamble goes down on the play. Now we've got a penalty flag. Now, was there offensive pushing down there,
yes,
Gary?
That's what he's going to call. Going to call Edwards was the push-off. He was working hard to get his flag out. He could not get his flag out. Got those cold fingers.
That's why there was the delay. This one will be coming back.
But that's how you need to throw that football. You need to keep it in the field. You've got a tall receiver. Now they're saying, go get it, Braylon Edwards. You can see he had his hands on his jerseys, throwed him down to the right side. Not going to get away with that one in this stadium. Got grabbed the back of his jerseys and flung him down. That is a good call by the official. Big time talent, those 2 guys, huh?
You bet.
What was it, 1st and goal from what, 7 or 8 yard line? 8-yard line, and now the ball's back on the 33. What, 34, excuse me. Wow.
Michigan will try to set that matchup again. 1:03 from the Buckeye 34-yard line. Navarre, middle, complete to the 25-yard line, and that will bring up 3rd down right now. Edwards curling into the middle that time, and Edwards looks like all the world. He's a big-time, another big-time Michigan receiver. I can remember Marquise Walker in this game last year, the game he had. Carr still working on the officials, trying to get some flags thrown in favor of Michigan.
Watch the draw here. Michigan has a timeout.
The one thing they don't want to do is blow at least a field goal opportunity, you wouldn't think. Navarre middle, got it to the 5-yard line.
Joffrey, boy, when you have those tight ends that go down the middle, John Navarre just bullets that ball, doesn't throw it up in the air, bullets that ball to the tight end. Joffrey clears Wilhelm in front of Doss, 2 of the best defenders on this Ohio State defense, but John Navarre throws a strike.
Now it's decision time. It is 4th down. Michigan will use its final timeout of the half to discuss whether or not they will kick the field goal or they'll go for the touchdown. So the wheels are turning, folks. We'll be right back.
Big Ten women's sports, for the love of the game.
Well, Gary Danielson, for all the world, it looks like Lloyd and Michigan will try to score a touchdown here. Let's see what comes out of there.
Navarre is the holder, so that's not a real good plea.
I see Askew coming out. He's also on this field goal formation. And Navarre, the holder.
Might fake it, but at least they're going to line up and field goal.
Askew's over there on the wing as a blocker. Finley is 2 for 2 on the day. This to put Michigan ahead. And now, whistle blown over here on the right side of the defense. You can see the official who's waving his arms to stop the play. Buckeyes burn one, and we'll take a break.
Chemical experiments in weightless space. Archaeological digs in the desert Southwest. Justice in American courtrooms. If it's being explored by anyone, anywhere, it's happening here, tackling more issues of greater diversity than at any other institution in the world. The University of Michigan, where it's happening.
So a little extra ice has been applied here. The Buckeyes hoping that young Finley misfires on one, but he's been dead on the money. Adam Finley, the Wolverine punter and the 3rd field goal specialist. The Wolverines would have had a touchdown except for this offensive interference where Edwards throws Gamble to the ground before he makes the catch. Flag is flying. And now Finley for the lead with 21 seconds left. Navarre will put it down. This will be a 22-yard attempt. And Finley puts Michigan ahead for the 2nd time in this game. His field goal started the scoring. Then Ohio State went ahead of Carr, 7-3. Then he had a 2nd field goal. But now the 3rd impressive drive. However, they have not yet been able to reach the end zone. Let's get on to Jack.
Well, Brent, we asked the Wolverine coaching staff what was the turning point. Offensively, the offensive coordinator, Terry Malone, said back in October, it was the Penn State game on October 12th in the Big House in Ann Arbor, Michigan. And the coaching staff, Terry Malone, said one of the reasons was because Brandon Edwards caught 2 TD passes from John Navarre and a 3-yard TD run with just 3 minutes left in regulation, pushed that game into overtime. And they said that's when we knew that we were a unit, cohesive as an offensive squad.
Lloyd smiling as he continues his political work with the Zebras on the on the far side.
Give him a little spice, give him a little sugar, you know, you got to do it all.
Got to do it. Got to do it.
Well, I mean,
it's been a well officiated game. Lapatina's crew, a veteran.
Two big penalties by Michigan. You know, they had the sack and 2 penalties, or they might have put a touchdown on the board there.
Gamble now back in the game. Snitker to the 30-yard line. Well, Lloyd Carr, a veteran, of course, of the Big Ten Wars, and Jim Trussell with a lot of success at Youngstown State, 154 games. Lloyd has been a very good bowl coach, 4 of 7. Trussell and the Bucks lost a year ago down in Florida. Carr's record against the Bucks 5-2. Jimmy, of course, came away with a win, though, last year in his first game. And against the Big Ten, Jim Trussell is 12-3. So Carr, the veteran, longtime assistant, started under Schembechler over there. He was a quarterback in his playing days back in college. And the Buckeyes will be content to run the clock out here on the first half. Lloyd Carr and the Michigan Wolverines take a 2-point lead into the locker room at intermission, 9-7. And down we go to Jack.
Well, Coach, rate that first half. What do you think?
Well, I think we did a great job offensively when you don't have to punt against Ohio State.
Yeah, 2 great sustained drives.
I feel very good about that. I know this. It's a great football game. Hard fought, just the way it ought to be.
Michigan, Ohio State, fellas.
All right, Jack. Carr trots off to the locker room now. John and Terry are coming up. They'll have all the scores and highlights now. Typical Michigan-Ohio State game, isn't it, folks? Here's John and Terry. We are at halftime, 9-7 Michigan. Let's go to Jack Aroot.
Well, Coach, so many times you found this Buckeye squad in this position behind before the start of the second half. What'd you tell them?
Well, same thing. You know, you got to make every play be a special play. When you're in the Ohio State-Michigan game, it's so crucial. The Big Ten is a battle every weekend, and most especially on the last Saturday.
Thanks, Coach. And Brent, I haven't seen Jim Trussell this animated coming out of halftime all season long.
Jackie was really trying to fire the troops up here, Gary Danielson, and so far, Michigan has totally dominated offensively in the clock.
Well, that's because of third down, Brent. They've just been picking up third downs in this game. They've rushed just enough. John Navarre has been on target when he's had to throw on third down. And Ohio State, you know, that one time they had a drive going. They got it, what, 3rd and inches? They decided to punt. 3rd and inches, Michigan made it. 3rd and inches, Ohio State didn't.
Well, Michigan gets the first possession of the second half. So that's another advantage. Remember, they won the coin flip. So Nugent puts the ball on the tee. The main man is Lasser, number 21. And we'll see what Nugent is able to do into a little bit of a breeze here this afternoon, with Michigan leading by 2 points. High and short and fielded at the 14 by Lasser. Alley right side. And he's slammed down to the 27. Pacific Life game summary stats, and they will look this way. The number of snaps, 44 for Michigan to 17 for Ohio State. And there's what Gary told you about. We've highlighted it. 8 of 11 Michigan on third downs. The Bucks with only 2. Claret has carried the ball only 5 times because he's been on the sideline. He's still on the sideline as John Navarre comes out now. Michigan has not yet punted in this football game. Perry starts off the second half, and he makes his way to the 30-yard line. Now, as we look at the comparison of our 2 quarterbacks, Navarre's thrown 17 times, Gary, and Krenzel only 7.
Yeah, John Navarre's played a good football game in this football game. There's no doubt about it, but Craig Krenzel just hasn't had the opportunities. You know, we saw Carl Diggs leave this game with a knee injury. Ohio State hasn't been able to take advantage of that depleted Michigan linebacker unit because they have not, ankle injury by Carl Diggs, because they haven't been on the field since then.
Second down and 7. Chopru, the H-back, comes to the left side of the formation, and it is to Edwards with Wilhelm picking him up. That is short of the first down. It'll bring up a 3rd down for the Wolverines.
Real nifty little pass play right there. Big wide receiver kind of just rubs off into the opening and throws to big Braylon Edwards,
who played at Michigan before going on to the Houston Oilers and Detroit Lions. And look at how good an all-around athlete he is. All those positions he played back during his high school days. He's number 80. He'll go out to the right side of the formation. 6 catches for 60 yards here today on 3rd down. The handoff, and Askew rumbles to the 45-yard line, and Michigan picks up another first down.
Ran right through a C. Grant blitzing linebacker, number 6. No one blocks him at all for Ohio State. Watch number 6. He needs to come in tightly right here. Make sure it's not a draw. Make sure the quarterback passes that guy. That's a good defensive design and a bad defensive play by C. Grant on 3rd and short.
Askew lined up in front of Perry. Now shifts over a little bit to the left to lead Perry through the hole. Wilhelm, though, jumps the play. Donnie Nicky also joins the fray, and it's 2nd down.
That's the type of tackling Ohio State has to have on 1st down. They can't have those running backs from Michigan spinning out as
Wilhelm's
Matt Wilhelm goes out.
Stinger.
Wilhelm is very healthy this year. A year ago was nicked, and they'll come in with DeAndre, a freshman. True freshman will take his place.
Number 5 is the replacement for Wilhelm, DeAndrea. The one thing they have to worry about is anything complex for DeAndrea. He did not see a lot of different formations in high school.
He's down, he's down!
And you can hear the umpire bellowing out that he is down. That's Roger Haber. He's our umpire. Jim Lapatina's crew. They've done an excellent job here so far today.
Well, you can see Michigan's game plan. Get it to 3rd and medium. That's why they're 9 for 12 in the football game, because they've got it 3rd and makeable. Instead of 3rd and long, it's been 3rd and makeable, and John Navarre has been finding those Michigan receivers in the zone.
Which is what Navarre said that they had to do today against this defense. Wilhelm back on the field, missed only 1 play. Navarre, pressure hit by Grant, and it's incomplete. And rolling in that time from his linebacker spot, there is number 6, C. Grant.
Very interesting. C. Grant lined up on the wrong side of the formation, and then when he shifted over, I think that confused Michigan's pass protection. He came free, and who's that coming on, Brent? What's that? What does that guy do? What does he do? What kind of formation is this for Michigan?
And Carr is still politicking on that far side, angry right now, and here's the first punt. As Gary was pointing out, we don't recognize him without a holder. Of course, he's kicked the field goals, and Finley, a good punter, drives Gamble back to the 7-yard line. He gambles on it and picks up a few yards. Steps out to the 16-yard line. Buckeyes football finally. Timeout. Ohio State's 4 first-half possessions. Gary, I make it, what, about an hour on the clock when they last had the football? It was about an hour
ago. They have to
ago.
warm up again, and this is where they took a knee on the last, right at the last play. It was a 1 play there.
So this will be the Buckeyes are probably rusty as they come out here. First down. Here comes the young man. Claret to daylight. Cato June can't bring him down. Stevens finally comes from behind. But it's out to the 31-yard line, and the difference maker with a first down on another 15-yard run, and Stevens jawing a little bit with the freshman.
This is what Claret does that Ohio State's other backs don't do. They run the ball up the middle, but he feels as it bounces outside and falls forward like a young T.J. Duckett for Michigan State when he was a freshman. Maurice Claret is that big tailback that runs through that first defensive back tackle.
Vance is out to the left. Claret slips the corner that time. And it is the second man, Joy Sarantos, the redshirt freshman from Portage, Michigan, who finally brings him down. Sarantos in there because of the Diggs injury now, and he'll have to dig in. Let's check in with Jack.
Brett, there's no question that Maurice Claret's shoulder is bothering him, but as he said at the beginning of the week, this is Michigan, Ohio State. He said, I'm not going to run favoring or trying to protect that shoulder the way I have in previous appearances since he injured it. He said, if I play 6 plays or 60 plays, it's Michigan, Ohio State. I've noticed that he has been trying to bowl people over the way he did when he had that record day against Washington State.
Michigan expected the pass, and they get it. Nickelback went in under fire that time and trying to force the ball to Jenkins, basically.
You're not going to throw the ball late to Marlon Jackson's man. Even if it's Jenkins, you throw the ball as an afterthought against Marlon Jenkins, and he'll eat you up. You see Jenkins outside. Jackson's got him one-on-one. Now, he throws it a little late. Jackson said, not against me. You can throw late against somebody else, but even if you're going to Jenkins, I'm going to be right there.
Now Hartsock is split way out to the left in this Buckeye
both
formation.
tight ends. Both tight ends are wide. Both receivers are in the slot.
On this third down, Vance and Jenkins are the slot men. Prinzo will not get away from the pressure. Grant Bowman, who on the previous play brought the heat, got in again and set it up for Shanti Orr.
Shanti Orr and Bowman both. I think it was Orr first, then Bowman, then Orr, then Bowman. He has no one downfield to throw to, and the two outside guys just force Prenzel to eat the ball in the pocket.
2 consecutive plays for Grant Bowman. And Groom to punt again with Julius Curry, who returned today from the injured list, set to return. Curry from the 25-yard line. 40, 45, and down. Excellent field position coming up for John Navarre and the Wolverines, who lead it by 2. On a cool Saturday afternoon, there is the Ohio State Medical School, the hospital and dental clinic there in the background. And back here with Michigan leading by 2, 9-7, and a first down now for John Navarre. Here comes Perry, gets to the outside, and he will be out of bounds across midfield at the 47-yard line. They will spot the ball right there. So an overcast, cool day, and a typical game that Woody and Bo would have loved. And it is the Wolverines' offensive line that has dominated the clock. Moving the ball here again, you can see the yards for Perry and Fuller.
Yeah, but if you add Askew in there too, has another 36. Michigan has rushed the ball for over 100 yards. The first time in 5 games that Ohio State has given up 100 yards rushing.
This is Askew. Slashes. Diving for the first down. Michael Doss coming up from that safety spot to make another stop. We check in with Jack.
The Red B.J. Askew says that last season he was too selfish for the team, but when Chris Perry came on the scene, he had to decide whether he wanted to switch to fullback so that Perry could play, or that he wanted to stay competing with Perry for the tailback position. He switched over to fullback after addressing the team and saying, look, I will do whatever it takes to win. If Coach Carr wants me to field punts, hold for point afters, I'll do it. And he made the switch to fullback.
Now a first down for Michigan, and Navarre. His movement, that'll cost him 5. Well, I can imagine that there's a whole lot of folks around the country that are pulling hard for these Wolverines to hang on. And
prior to the snap, false start, offense.
They never went to school, but you could see what would happen. Chaos would break out in the Tostitos BCS standings if the Buckeyes lose. Could Washington State reach the Fiesta Bowl? How about Oklahoma? They'll feel they'll still have a chance. And Georgia, Notre Dame, and Iowa are very much in the mix and rounding out the top 15. 4 teams in the Big Ten. So a lot of fortunes are depending on the outcome of this football game right now. John Navarre with a play fake to Perry, stands tall in the pocket, and he missed Bellamy.
Yeah, but the ball was thrown in a proper spot. A.J. Hawk was running underneath that curl route that time, and if Navarre would have thrown the ball to the receiver, he would have got it picked off. That's one of those decisions that a quarterback makes correctly with an incomplete pass. Navarre 11 for 20 in the game, and Brent, no turnovers in this football game. Neither side has made that critical mistake yet.
Second down and 15 with Corrett watching from the Buckeye sideline. 3 down linemen as the Bucks expect the obvious pass, and they'll get it. One to set the screen, and he does to Askew, and it is blown up by young Mr. Hawk. Ladies and gentlemen, keep an eye on this man right here, number 47. He is only a freshman. He came here with an understanding of how to play the position. The coaches say the Ohio State sideline, and they're extremely fond of him and the job that he has done. Mark Snyder, the linebacking coach, said that he is further along than any of the freshmen. Now third down.
Ohio State loves this three-man look on 3rd and long with Will Smith right here as a wild card rusher or dropper.
Navarre, inside shuttle pass against the three-man rush, short of the 40-yard line, and it'll bring up a 4th down.
Ohio State stayed in a deep zone and made sure that ball was kept in front of them. That's good defense. Is going to force Michigan to punt the ball. See BJ catches a lot of screens coming out of the backfield. Brent said he comes out in the 2-man backfield to run routes. In the 1-man backfield, he runs the screen pass like he did on 2nd down.
Campbell is back. Buckeyes looking for a spark as Finley punting for the 2nd time this half, and Campbell will let this one roll to the end zone. Will it be down? Beanbag is dropped, but it went on into the end zone. Was not controlled at the 1-yard line as Brandon Williams was down there for Michigan. It was close. Coming out to the 20. Ohio State 0 for 3 in 3rd downs, but that man right there has gained 54 yards and only 7 carries. So the Buckeyes probably have to change the sequencing of plays as they start off with Claret, who twists and then slips at the 26-yard line. So it'll be 2nd down and about 4 coming up now for the Bucks.
Ran right through Sorrentos that time as Claret breaks the record, huh?
Robert Smith.
Took him a while. He had those 4 games when he was injured, but
as we take a look back now at Robert Smith, he was a long strider who had a fine but brief career with the Minnesota Vikings. He held the record until just a few moments ago, and Maurice Claret is the new freshman record holder, and here he comes. Bounces the play to the outside beautifully to the 40, down at the 43-yard line. McClintock and June in pursuit, but 17 more yards. And Gary, the running game, if you want to second guess Tressel and the Buckeye brain trust, the running game looks solid, and it is the passing game that has struggled here mightily against Michigan.
Well, I guess they just haven't. They're 6 for 8 throwing the ball. They just have not been able to keep Claret on the field enough and make short conversions for 1st downs. When he's out there, he's able to run the ball.
4 down linemen for the Wolverines. Lazarus is over on Stepanovic, and he moved. Lazarus jumped on him now, and the officials, Lazarus is motioning that he was pulled into that neutral zone, and the umpire and the line judge there will sort it out.
Prior to the snap, offside, defense.
Lazarus jumped. That cost 5 yards. We go to New York and John Saunders.
Brent, Minnesota trying to hold off Wisconsin's hope for a bowl. Assad Abdul-Khalik is going to have a pitch here to Terry Jackson. He takes it across for the touchdown. They've also added a field goal, so Minnesota leads 24-21, and Notre Dame is on the board against Rutgers. Carlisle Holiday to Arnaz battle, 7-0. Brent.
All right, John, and of course next week here on ABC in prime time, Keith Jackson and Dan Fouts will have the Fighting Irish and Southern Cal out west. Huge game. Here's Maurice Hall to the middle. Penalty flag is thrown. Penalty flag is thrown back at the line of scrimmage. This one could be coming back.
Well, they finally pop one inside, and all of a sudden the Buckeyes get their holding penalty. Michigan had one earlier. So both teams on a big play have been called. Maurice Hall thought he finally did one. Pulling around, Going to have the guard pull around right here. It's the power O. They've been running it all year. And I think it was Oliva, number 71, as he spun his man around, that got the call.
Grant Bowman replaces Hoyer in the defensive front for the Wolverines. Claret back in as the running back.
Good substitution pattern, I think, for Jim Tressel with Claret. He cannot be in game shape, not only favoring that shoulder, but is getting hit. He can't be running back ready, and that's when you turn the ball over, when you get tired.
Joe is the fullback to the left of Krenzel. Krenzel wanted Claret on a shuttle pass. The play had been taken away from him, so Krenzel steps out of bounds, and will there be a late flag? There is one on the other side of this play. There is a penalty flag, but it has nothing to do with Krenzel on the far side, I don't believe. Now watch Krenzel.
Going wide on the play. Got hit right on the sideline. I think that's a good no call right there, but Krenzel did a smart thing in not pitching that ball. That was a shuffle pass underneath.
And it was well defended. There was no way that they could have made that hold up, and if they had, it would have been for a loss.
On the defense, the penalties will be declined. Result of the play ends up second down.
So they will take the run by Krenzel, and a reminder at the conclusion of the game will select the Chevrolet player of the game from each team. Chevrolet will make a $1,000 contribution to each university's general scholarship fund. And that 12-yard gain goes down now for Krenzel, who is, Gary points right at his forehead as he looks at me.
Smart player.
Absolutely, Gary. So we've said that now for, I guess, as long as we've watched him this year. I know you've pointed it out several times. Claret maintains his balance, crosses the 40-yard line, and Gary, I honestly go back to what I said. It looks like they can block for the run, and that's where they're gaining their yards against the Wolverines.
I think Tressel just fears if they keep him in and pound on Claret play after play, he's just not in hitting shape. He hasn't played in a while, and that's why he's spotting them. But Krenzel, I mean, 6 for 8, throwing the ball, running the ball when he has to. He's making the plays as a quarterback in this offense.
Jenkins and Gamble are his 2 wideouts, 2 tight ends in this formation. Here comes number 13, bounces it around Hobson, but he could not stretch out the defense as Charles Drake, the senior from Los Angeles, at safety, makes the stop. Friday now, warm up the leftovers and join ABC for great college football doubleheader action. Kicks off at noon Eastern. Texas A&M battles Chris Sims and Texas. Then at 3:30 Eastern, number 17, Colorado takes on Nebraska. The great rematch. Friday on ABC, the class of college football.
And you'll see Claret come out of the game. 2 runs is about the most he can do in a row. When he runs wide, he just runs out of gas. Football shape is different than riding that bicycle on the sideline.
Second down. Krenzel from the gun. Gets great time. And then could not hook up with Mr. Jenkins. Ball thrown behind him, and number 12 was in position. Looked like he was wide open. The offensive line gave Krenzel all the time he.
Michigan was running a stunt up front, and they kind of ran themselves out of the play. Watch Michigan, they're going to stunt around the outside, and watch that offensive line. They just have the ability. See, Hoyer goes wide on this play, and there's the protection. And this is like a guy with a wide open jump shot. Krenzel can't have Jenkins any more open than that, and he misses it.
Here's another 3rd down. Let's go back to that statistic. The Buckeyes are 0 for 3 on 3rd down, and this a tough one. 3rd down and 10. Krenzel couldn't find anybody. He won't get it. And Mr. Hobson, number 6, hanging on at the 35-yard line.
Great disguised defense by Michigan on this play. They give him an umbrella look. Look at the umbrella. Looks like it's too deep. But watch his safety come into a robber position. At the snap, Greg Krenzel, you think we're giving you too deep? We're giving you the robber, and look at that coverage. Beautiful defensive scheme by Michigan on 3rd and long.
And here, Nugent started out, holds up, there's confusion. The Buckeyes probably had a disagreement with players and coaches.
Well, Ohio State will probably...
And so the Buckeyes come back on over to the sideline. They use a timeout. What had happened on that play, as I watched down on the sideline, is that Jimmy Tressel and Maurice Clarett and a couple of other players were trying to discuss what to do on 4th down. Clarett amongst them waved for Nugent to go out on the field at the far left-hand side. Nugent went out about 5 yards. Suddenly they realized, no, maybe we don't want to do that. So they used a timeout so as not to have a penalty here. They're on the 35-45. It would be a long field goal, even for Mr. Nugent, into this breeze.
Well, here's the tough one now if you're Ohio State. If you don't kick the field goal or don't go for it, you've burned a timeout, because you could take the 5-yard penalty and punt the ball. Now they've wasted a timeout, and if they end up punting the ball, it'll really come. This would have 52 or 3 yards into the wind. That'd be tough.
Well, there's the Goodyear blimp hovering above now, and whenever it's up there, you know it's a big one, huh? Those unique views, and we thank him for that. The Spirit of Goodyear is based 120 miles north of Columbus, Akron, Ohio, and
Groom's in there.
There comes Groom, and I think Gary gave you the scenario that cost them a timeout. If you want to punt, just take the 5-yard penalty and then send him out. So the Buckeyes, after a lengthy conversation that went back and forth, have decided with Groom to try and hang it high and punt for field position here. Not the best that I've ever seen Mr. Groom fire up. It'll be spotted at the 23-yard line. Not happy with that particular effort. Only a 12-yard punt.
Well, about that, a 12-yard punt and a timeout. Remember that timeout late in the game.
So there are the offensive snaps today. As you take a look at the difference, 55 to 29. You see that the Buckeyes are getting decent production off their snaps, but they just can't get enough of them right now in this game against a very determined Michigan team. And the Wolverines have used a lot of players today. Lloyd Carr and his staff doing a fine job with personnel packages in this game. Navarre back to throwing now, has Edwards, and Gamble is the defender on the far side for a first down.
What's up, guys?
Well, back in '54, the Bear Bryant, took 115 football players into the desert of West Texas. Only a handful walked out. The Junction Boys, the greatest sports story never told, Saturday, December 14th at 9 Eastern on ESPN. Coming up, I think that's the day of the Heisman Trophy presentation, and isn't that a wide open battle this year? First down and 10 for the Wolverines now. Ball at the 36-yard line. They come back now to Perry. Wilhelm slashed in and made the stop, holding on to one leg.
See that Buckeye defense. Kenny Peterson forced the ball to pop out to Matt Wilhelm. That defensive line must force that ball to bounce, and then the linebackers have to make the sure tackle. That's what the Buckeyes need. Stop it on first down. I said first down was key all day today, and Michigan has been making those plays on first down.
Perry has rushed for 69 yards. Askew for 39. Askew offset as the lead back against the 4-man front as Edwards comes in motion. Play fake though, and Navarre's coming up firing. And he's got Askew out of the backfield, but Reynolds wrestles him down at about the 39-yard line.
Michigan, second down, goes with their conservative passing game. They want to set it up for third and medium so they can pick it up. That's why in this football game, they're at 9 for 14 on third down, and Ohio State 0 for 4.
Avant, Bellamy, and Edwards. They'll match Edwards against Fox on the short side of the field. The quarterback's left. Navarre's looking for Edwards too. Got him in underneath for the first down, out of bounds in Ohio State territory at the 47-yard line, a gain of 13. There was never a doubt where Navarre was going with that football. We watched him all the way.
One of those rub plays that Michigan likes to run. In comes Edwards, out goes Joffrey, gets pushed off on Destin Fox that time. Fox falls down, and Edwards goes out wide. It's one of those West Coast offense plays that you see everywhere in college and pro football nowadays.
Now the double tight formation with that one wide receiver. They get one-on-one if they want it. It'll be Perry to run. Slips the first tackle. Wilhelm does not let him by at the 45. And the Buckeye defense trying now to stop these Wolverines. And again, Michigan has dominated the clock today. Time of possession for them, 27 minutes to 16 for Ohio State.
The Michigan offensive line handling third down protection. John Navarre not making mistakes with the football. The Michigan backs, when they run, they fall forward. Nice combination.
Edwards back in the game off to the right as Abbott comes in motion. Navarre, though, will run the one back askew, and the Bucks read it well. The front jumps on it.
On third down last time, Ohio State came with a blitz. They went man-to-man coverage. Mark D'Antonio has tried about every different combination he can on third down, and so far, he really hasn't found something he can hang his hat on.
Final half minute of the third quarter, and another of those third downs. Michigan 10 of 15 on third down here today, and now I believe they're going to burn a timeout. Yes, they are. Lapatina motions that Carr and the Wolverines, prior to this third down, are going to burn the timeout.
You can see John Navarre go to the sideline. He could not read the signal from the sideline.
You know, this game is so big, and we had an opportunity to ask some guys who are now in the National Football League what it meant to come in and play each other. Like Orlando Pace of the St. Louis Rams, who was such a great tackle for Ohio State from 74 to 76. Asked him his best memory, and here's what the great tackle had to say.
It was just like I was walking on air, man. You're just moving so fast. Everything was happening so fast because, you know, upon coming to Ohio State, that was one of the games that you definitely wanted to play in. And I got a chance to play and start as a freshman. And that was huge for me to come out and get a win.
That these fellas have. And like Anthony Thomas, the great running back from Michigan, now with the Chicago Bears. Here's what he had to say about his freshman year back in '97.
Freshman year in '97, it was like all my running backs that was in front of me got hurt, and I had to come in and play my first cold game. And then it was a tough game. It was a fight to the end. I never knew what to expect, but I knew from that day forward, I had 3 more games against them, and I knew it was going to be a real battle.
In Anthony Thomas's career, Michigan won 3 of 4 games. As a junior, he rushed for 111 yards. And I'm sure he's watching now. The linesman throws the flag prior to the snap. Then as a senior playing in Columbus, Thomas carried 29 times for 60 yards. And Michigan won again, 38-26. We go to New York and John Saunders.
Brent, Wisconsin trying to grab the lead back against Minnesota and keep those Bull hopes alive. Anthony Davis, 26 yards on this run. They grab the lead over Minnesota, 28-24. It's still in the third. Notre Dame got a touchdown from Shane Walton, although it looked like a short hop. They gave him the interception. They lead Rutgers 14-zip.
Here's the third down now from just across midfield for Michigan. They need to get to the 37-yard line for a first down. The fire high, incomplete.
That was properly read by Michigan that time. They felt on third down, third and medium, they could go for it. But third and long, if they're going to make a mistake, they're going to go deep. They got one-on-one to the outside. Defense is rotating this way. They say, let's go deep on Gamble. Will he squat on third down? Let's throw the ball up down the sideline. And that's really a good play by Michigan. And Chris Campbell did not make a mistake. The guy is unbelievable, Chris Campbell.
Finley into punt. Michigan getting the ball to where they did has a chance now to establish good field position from which to defend it. Gamble will try to get the Bucks out of trouble, but he does not. Makes a mistake Fielding one inside the 5, comes out to the 6-yard line. It's going to be a long haul for the Buck offense. We check in with Jack.
Well, Brent, what about the offensive turning point for the Buckeyes this year? We asked their coordinator, Jim Bowman. He said it came in the second half in September against the Washington State Cougars. That's when Maurice Clarett broke open for a big day, and the offense scored 19 unanswered points. The type of day they're going to have in this fourth quarter if they hope to win.
Yeah, Jimmy needs here in the last 3 seconds of the third and then the fourth, Jack. Jimmy needs this offensive line to settle in there and keep opening holes. Stepanovich back in there at center. Bishop is his right guard. Clarett on the field. Got a nice block to the 15-yard line. But it is Michigan that has dominated this rivalry so far here today. Clarett, 12 carries for 95 yards. But the most important number belongs to Michigan. They lead the Bucks 9-7. Back after this message, a word from our ABC stations.
Football on ABC Sports, Championship Television.
Welcome to the perils of Pauline, otherwise known as an Ohio State fourth quarter. Over the last few weeks, Gary, it's been unbelievable with them.
It really has. You could say you're used to it, or you've been on the tightrope so long you eventually got to fall. It's going to be one of those two, but big crowd, and I think 95,000 of this over 100,000 are holding their breath going into the fourth quarter.
Record today, over 105,000 in here. The Bucks with a second down. And their freshman Clarett breaks the daylight. Jackson wrestles him down, but not before he reaches the 32-yard line. 17 yards for Clarett, who has now broken the 100-yard barrier again as a freshman.
Boy, we've watched him so many times this year. We did the Washington State game when he did the 230, and then we saw the Purdue and Illinois game when he didn't play. Ohio State just a completely night and day different football team when Clarett's out there.
Joe is the fullback for him. And here's Clarett, slips inside the linebacker, and Hobson coming over to make the stop. Picked up a couple more yards. So I know there you see the exact number, 105,539. A new record at the shoe. My goodness, I think it was last week I read in the Columbus Dispatch that the television rating was a 75% share coming down the stretch against Illinois. I can't ever remember, Gary, even seeing that in the heyday of the Chicago Bears or the Denver Broncos. 75 is 3 out of every 4. Living and dying with the Buckeyes. Pringle is sacked. Hobson is in there with Hoyer. So coming up next, most of you will see Michigan State battle Joe Paterno and number 16 Penn State. We have other regional action. Kansas State, Missouri, Florida State, North Carolina State, USC, UCLA. That's all coming up next right here on ABC.
Jimmy Herman, defensive coordinator for Michigan, has done a nice job again. Came with a little package of blitz, trailed off his defensive end with Maurice Clarett, and no place to go for Craig Krenzel, and now it's 3rd and long, and they're in 3rd down, and they're not likely to pick it up.
Because they're 0 for 4. And this one is a toughie again. They need 15 on this one. Krenzel's firing for it, and he's got it. Got it at the 42-yard line. So Craig Krenzel to number 12. Mr. Jenkins makes another huge play.
How about this play by Craig Krenzel? Good protection up front. Jenkins is out here, comes right in this hole right here. Now watch Krenzel's footwork. He keeps him going, and then guns the ball right in between the linebackers. Big time throw by the quarterback.
Clarett again spins away from Hobson. You just cannot draw a bead on that young man, and he spun free for a yard. Jack Krenzel trying to pull another rabbit out of the hat here.
And Brent, Craig is a junior pre-med student. Take a look at his typical course week. Molecular genetics, microbiology, more molecular genetics, and more microbiology. I don't think he has a problem, Brent, making his progressions when he sees one of his primary receivers tied up.
I can't spell it, can't pronounce it. His brother, of course, I think is in medical school already. Craig will go that way if he doesn't get a shot. Pro football someday. On the move, McClintock chasing him, and so he elects to fire this one wisely out of bounds. Molecular biology taught the young man to throw it out of bounds rather than take the sack that time, and the flag, of course, is down.
He had Hartsock open early, but he was late turning around and faking, and he did not get the ball to the tight end.
Lloyd Carr, of course, unable to breathe easy with a 2-point lead, and he's facing arguably the best field goal specialist in the Big Ten on the other side.
10-yard penalty from the previous spot.
And that's Mike Nugent, and a little bit of a breeze at his back. So the Buckeyes in this quarter are not going to have to get too close, but a lot closer than right now where they're going in reverse.
And a tough decision for Lloyd right there. He thought it over. Did he want 3rd and 10 or 2nd and 20? And he thought it over and said send him back and make it 2nd and 20.
Schnitker comes in as a blocking back. 2nd and 18. The Bucks will have 2 plays to get something done. Vance coming in motion from the top of your screen. Wenzel may get him underneath, and he does. He has him. Vance spins free, and then it is stopped. McClintock, number 36.
So Michigan is ahead of the yards right there. It was going to be 2nd and 9. Now it's 3rd and what, 12.
Time permitting, stay tuned for the Thrifty Carville post-game report. We'll have scores and highlights from across the country. There's that 3rd down bugaboo again.
Yeah, but at least they're off the schneid, huh?
Yeah. They got Jenkins on the last one.
Jenkins matched up with Jackson down here. Great matchup, 2 great players.
Fakes the run, steps away, and throws high to the running back. Wenzel takes a lick on the play as he picks himself back up, and the Bucks are forced to punt.
I think this was going to be a screen pass all the way. You fake to Claret, and I think he was coming back to Claret on this play. Had a lineman out in front of him, but Michigan's defense forced a high throw.
An important punt for Ohio State and Michigan right here. This has field position written all over it. Curry from the 10 will look to get Michigan out of the hole, and he is down at the 16-yard line. John Navarre, who has not turned the ball over once today, will have it from there with a 2-point lead. Timeout. There's not all Ohio State fans here. Some of the youngsters have traveled down here from Ann Arbor. Some of the students cheering on the Wolverines. They like what they've seen so far. Play fake by Navarre. He's going to throw it on 1st down. Askew ball comes loose. Reynolds has got it. It's incomplete pass. Incomplete pass. The officials were all over the play immediately.
Boy, Doss made a huge play. Did he close on Askew? And I think Doss felt that he caught the ball and then he fumbled it. But Dawes made a wonderful play on that one.
Lloyd Carr, I think, is on the field,
sure is,
making sure that they're not going to change their mind here.
Askew slips out of the flat. Ball is thrown behind. Now watch it. Grabs it, comes down with a 1 foot, and the helmet goes right on the ball. He definitely catches it. 1 foot, 2 foot, ball comes out. That could have gone either way. Michigan caught a break there. No doubt about Michigan caught a break.
2nd down and 10. And here comes Perry, and Grant makes the stop. Well, we saw that great hit by Doss. He's played a terrific game, and I asked him about the chance to win a championship in his last game in Columbus.
since I've been little, since I've been 8 years old, I've had the opportunity to win a championship on every level that I've played on, from 8, 9, and 10-year-old to middle school to high school. And I said, to come back one more year, why let it stop here? So that's why I came back.
That's what he's done today. 13 tackles. You just saw number 13 as he jarred the ball loose. And of course, he isn't even credited with that one. It's an incomplete pass on the slant. Michigan keeps the football, and Bellamy picks up the first down on a huge play. We go to John Saunders.
Brent, Wisconsin just cannot hold off Minnesota. Assad Abdul-Khalik goes 2 yards to Thomas Tepe. That's Abdul-Khalik, and they take the lead. Then Illinois Northwestern, John Butcher, 29 yards to Brandon Lloyd for the touchdown. The Illini pull away. Brent.
All right, John, and here are the Wolverines, who have dominated the clock today with 30 minutes almost to 20 for the Buckeyes. Have another first down and 10. Perry, though, is hit for a loss by Kenny Peterson, the senior from Canton, Ohio.
Can't say enough about Kenny Peterson. He makes play after play on this defense. Lloyd Carr said that he feels that this front six, 4 starters and backups, is as good as he's seen athletically that Ohio State has had in years, and they make plays in the backfield.
Bellamy and Edwards check in for the Wolverines. Gamble shows bump and run this time on Edwards, off to the left. Reynolds tries to get on the blitz. Come back the other way, high. Second down. Well, a reminder that on Friday we've got a doubleheader. We kick off at noon Eastern. Texas A&M takes on Texas. Then at 3:30 Eastern, Colorado will take on Nebraska. That's Friday on ABC, the class of college football. Third down and 15 is the count. And the Michigan offense has gained 148 of their 296 on third down. That has been the difference in this game. Michigan's third down versus Ohio State's third down.
Half their yards on third down in this football game.
Navarre trying to get more. Comes back middle through behind the receiver that time. Missing Ronald Bellamy. And the Wolverines are forced to punt. This the opportunity now the Buckeyes perhaps have been waiting for. 8:40. Gamble back will get an opportunity to return this punt. Remember the breeze at their back right now. They have in Tom Nugent as good a field goal kicker as there is in the Big Ten. I should say Mike Nugent. Let me correct myself. Mike Nugent. Doss backs off. They set the return. And Gamble. There, they didn't give him the halo. That's a 10 yards tacked on.
So different strategy. With that halo rule, you just don't see the fair catch. Gamble just dares Michigan to come in close and make the play, and he gets a 10-yard return on the penalty, basically.
So they'll mark the yardage off. And if you're a Buckeye fan, the time is at hand. But the Wolverines have answered every challenge so far. Timeout. The ABC Sports presentation of college football is brought to you by Dodge. You can take life as it comes, or you can grab life by the horns. Dodge. AIG Insurance, Financial Services, and the Freedom to Dare. And Rocky Mountain Cold Coors Light. Cold, down, and easy. We're about to start Ohio State's best starting field position of the game. From the 43-yard line. This will be first down. Play fake. They're going to throw on first down. Krenzel underneath hit his fullback to the 42-yard line. Brandon Schnitker slips out.
Schnitker intercepted the pass thrown for Jenkins. No doubt in my mind, and Craig Krenzel was throwing the ball to Jenkins. You'll see Jenkins come right here. The fullback will be right there. Now watch, he throws downfield. He's got his eyes down there. Up, nice catch, Schnitker. Right over his head for the first down.
We might ask for a second opinion somewhere on that one, but Schnitker makes the play on the interception, according to Mr. Danielson. First down and 10. Schnitker now the H-back look. Play fake again, and Krenzel going to try to run out of trouble. He crosses the 40. And again now, Gary, we're getting down close to Nugent territory. Let's look at the Dodge defensive playbook here.
With Ohio State throwing, Michigan has been coming with different packages up front. Victor Hobson is the key. He will line up all over this front earlier in the game. That front confused Ohio State, and that's what caused the sack. Different packages on 3rd down for Michigan.
2nd down. Now it's Claret. No hole as Hobson wraps Claret up at the 42-yard line, and the freshman takes a loss on that play, setting up another 3rd and long. So Victor Hobson, a star who attended the same high school as Rich Gannon, the Raiders quarterback. That's moving. That's moving for a linebacker, folks. 3rd down. Jackson will go with Jenkins. He has manned him up all day. Number 3 defensively, tracking number 12 offensively. Here's your 3rd down.
Tight end and fullback outside wide here.
With an empty backfield, there's 5 receivers for Krenzel. Steps away from trouble. Now he'll run, dive to the close to that marker. He probably is just right at the marker.
Ohio State lucky to get that play off. Krenzel looked up and saw the clock going down and quickly moved his foot to get the silent snap and then dove for the marker on the far side.
Well, as they decide the measurement, let me take you back to overtime. It was 3rd down and 10 against Illinois. And Craig Krenzel couldn't find an open receiver, and he ran for 14 yards to give the Buckeyes a 1st down, from which they scored. Now the chains here come completely across the field for this critical measurement.
Looks short, doesn't it? You could tell by the body language of Ohio State's bench that it was short.
With Krenzel, you would think they just let him go right behind the left guard. Doss is out on the field yelling encouragement to the offense.
Remember against Purdue, 3rd down and short twice. They got stopped in the backfield, forcing them to try that 4th down pass play that won it. But they did not have Maurice Claret then. It's less than
you wonder if they will risk a handoff.
I think
there
they should
when
quarterback
you've got
sneak.
Krenzel.
Absolutely, I would quarterback sneak.
You can see how short this is. Goal line look here for the Wolverines. Claret there. Krenzel behind the left side. Got the 1st down.
So the quarterback on 3rd down sets it up, and he come back very smartly and just go through. Claret decoys from the tailback position, and he pushes through for the 1st down. You can almost feel it. I don't think the players are anywhere near as nervous as the Ohio State fans right now.
Ball at the Wolverine 32. Fakes the handoff. Krenzel's going to throw it 1st down. Got a man wide open. It's Claret. Out of bounds at the 6-yard line. Maurice Claret, who is an outstanding pass receiver. That is for 25 yards. During the spring, Jim Tressel told us that Michael Doss could not defend him coming out of the backfield. That's how good he is.
Out and up, and watch Krenzel. He doesn't lead him. He's got it wide open, so he throws the ball right at him, and Claret turns around and catches it with 2 hands right there looking at the ball. Perfect by the quarterback. Great call by Jim Tressel on 1st down.
A 26-yard gain. Buckeyes show the power eye. Michigan digs in for a play defensively. Claret bounces. stopped at about the 4-yard line. An injured Michigan player is down. I think he was perhaps just winded. Hoyer slow to get up. Norman Hoyer, the junior. He's up now, bending over a little bit. Take a look at the two running backs. Claret now with 117 yards, averaging almost 7 yards a pop. He has scored the game's only touchdown. You can see that Perry, although he has run well, has been limited to only 2.7 yards a carry. And the Buckeyes with Claret over on the sidelines been taken out.
He
wanted to go in, didn't he?
He wanted to be in there. Now, in this situation before against Illinois, they ran the stretch play to Maurice Hall. Is Hall in the game, or is it Lydell Ross? It is Maurice Hall.
Second down at the Wolverine 4. Powers to the left side of the formation, but now they age back. Yes, they'll turn Hartsock back around, and they'll go to the weak side. Easy. They'll walk in. Touchdown. They ran away from the strength of the formation that time, and Maurice Hall strolls into the end zone.
Now we know why Claret wasn't in there. This play has been practiced and circled for Maurice Hall. How about those two calls by Jim Tressel? The first down pass to Claret and the option play. Everybody to one side, option play to the other. Michigan never saw this one on film. Two great calls.
So Jim Tressel orchestrating the offense. Using different personnel. Nugent adds the extra point. He scored the winner a week ago in overtime. Tressel leads Michigan 14-9. Timeout. 8 plays, 57 yards. Remember what we said at the start of the drive. The best starting field position of the day for Ohio State. We also said the wind is at their back. They have a chance if they can force Michigan to punt. And now, ladies and gentlemen, these Ohio State Buckeyes are 5 minutes from Arizona. 5 minutes to a chance to play for a national championship. Perhaps their first since '68. But remember, the Wolverines got one in '97, and they've still got a lot of fire left in their belly. And it'll be their turn now with Nugent to kick it off. Coming out on the 20-yard line. Let's go back to the TD, Gary.
Overloaded on this side by Ohio State, and watch Cato June. He sees it, starts to smell, and cheats to the other side. Oops! Option the other way. Cato June is out of position. He's the last guy that had a chance to make the play. A brilliant call for that touchdown.
A field goal will not help Michigan. Wolverines must dig in now and score their first touchdown of the day. There's their possessions. They've been forced to punt 4 times. The yards, they haven't even gained 30 yards in the series against the Buckeye defense. Number 16, John Navarre, definitely under the gun right now. Short drop. Incomplete as his receiver went down. Bellamy coming off the line, and it is 2nd and 10, and things are starting to turn now in Ohio State's direction.
Yeah, how about that? No punts in the first half and 4 straight punts in the second half for this Michigan team. That time Bellamy got off the jam from Gamble and lost his footing on a play that should have been easy pitch and catch. The matchup is on the other side of the field, though. Edwards and Fox, that's where you want to go, down here.
Here comes Perry. They don't give up on the run, but it'll be 3rd down and long. Michigan and Ohio State. The 2 key plays in that touchdown drive. On 4th down, Krenzel picked it up behind the left side, not handing it off. Then he comes up firing to his running back, who's wide open. And Claret is out of bounds at the 6. prior to the Hall touchdown. Now we go to 3rd down and 7. Incomplete, and Fox was riding the receiver, and there's a penalty flag thrown by the linesman as Fox was all over the intended receiver.
Came right over his back. Ohio State went with about a 3.5-man rush, 3 up front, and Will Smith came in real late, and that's just too much time for Navarre. There's the matchup. Bellamy, they're going to throw at Fox when they want to. Fox must make a play. Pretty good position this time. The ball slightly underthrown, and he goes through the back. Here he is down here. The ball comes right in that area. Look at this. 3-man rush. Ball is thrown in the dig, and man, that was very, very close. I actually thought Fox made a pretty good play on that one, but he came through with his shoulders and hit Bellamy on an underthrown ball.
Ball is brought out to the 38-yard line. First down after the 15-yard penalty. Navarre to throw on first down, incomplete. Edwards can't hang on.
People at Michigan have felt that Edwards, on the easy throws, takes his eye off it and starts to run. That play, he could have at least caught the ball and made it a 2 or 3 yard K, maybe 4-yard play. He ended up trying to run too quickly, and he drops the ball.
Well, the young man who is under fire again, number 37. There is Fox on the corner. Next year, you can expect him to be switched to safety. He'll move into the DOS spot in all likelihood. Navarre goes back again, fires, and receiver was down on the catch. Could not get up and go as his knees were on the ground. Bellamy at the 44-yard line, and it'll be 3rd down coming up. Now Gamble, who has been the two-way man, switching over to the field or wide side of the formation. 64 snaps. He's been in on every defensive play. Return punts. Now facing the 3rd down. Short drop, firing, deflection, incomplete. It's 4th down. Hold it. There's a penalty flag.
It's going to be a tipped ball, though, Brent, and they're going to pick the flag up. The ball was tipped at the line of scrimmage, and they will pick it up.
That's exactly what they're signaling. Trussell first, Lapatina next.
And 105 other thousand people.
There's no foul in the play. The forward pass was tipped by a defensive lineman. No foul.
Slant play. Ball up front is tipped, Jazz. Very clearly the ball is tipped, and that's exactly when Dustin Fox grabs hold of the receiver, clearly after the tip pass.
4th down for Michigan. Carr's team to go for it. Navarre looking to the sideline for the signal. Timeout has been called prior to the snap. Buckeyes at 3:22 away from a trip to Arizona. Timeout. 4th down against the Bucks coming up. Wolverines need 4. They've got it. Out of bounds at the 44-yard line. John Navarre keeps the drive alive with another 3rd down strike. This one of 12 yards.
What a throw. Come on now. This is unbelievable. John Navarre, criticized so much in his career, goes up against Gamble. Perfect throw. Outside shoulder on 4th and 4.
Navarre to put it up on 1st down. Goes down to Bellamy high, and it'll be 2nd down. So Bellamy, who made that catch to keep this drive alive, and it is 2nd down, and we were just talking about how much they've been attacking Fox, and that time they went after Gamble. and picked up the first down.
Fourth
The
down.
one thing that coaches tell you about defensive backs, I know it's a cliche, but they've used it here at Columbus. We'll pass it along. If you play the corner, you must have a very short memory. And Mr. Fox did just that. They took him out of the Illinois game, sent him back. He's played hard and well here today. Now it is second down and 10. Wolverines with 3 wide receivers. They run the draw play. Askew across the 40 to the 38-yard line. That'll bring up second down. We go to John Saunders.
Brent, Wisconsin trying to grab the lead back against Minnesota, down 35-31. Right now they have the lead at 35-31, then get the touchdown by Anthony Davis from 2 yards. They've added to that, now up 42-31.
Just the opposite on the scoreboard here, John. 14-9, but the Wolverines are alive. Edwards is the motion receiver. Navarre getting great time, hits Edwards again, and he's wrestled down at the 30-yard line with 2:29 to go. Matt Wilhelm brings him down.
So Ohio State defense, you called it the rubber band defense all day. That's what it's been. This drive is starting to feel a lot like that Illinois drive at the end of the game when they marched it down there, took it into overtime. Now, here's this Ohio State defense facing a precision passing Michigan team that has 4 downs.
Askew, the running back. Navarre getting great time. Fumble! Ball's picked up finally by the Buckeyes. Finally, the ball was rolling around. LaPatina's there. First down. Buckeyes. The Buckeyes on the game's first turnover recover the Navarre fumble, and coming out of there with a football is Will Smith. But see, Grant was in there. They were all in the middle of that pile. We'll take a second look at it.
Ohio State lined up funny. I don't think they even had a cornerback covering a wide receiver, but they got away with it. Michael Dawes was supposed to go one way. Navarre comes up in the pocket. Ball gets popped loose inside. I don't know if it was David Thompson that knocked it loose or Darian Scott.
Darian Scott knocked it free.
Yes.
And Will Smith. Watch now from the left side. Darian Scott will flash with the left hand put out. Now the ball is still free. No one yet has it. And finally, Will Smith has it. And now the Buckeyes are 2 minutes from Arizona.
Michigan only has 1 timeout left. They took one on 4th down and they used one earlier in the game. On that play, though, you can see that Ohio State is confused. Here's Dawes going out for a wide receiver. They don't really on the line very smartly. Dawes runs out there as a veteran guy, and inside comes Darian Scott because a misalignment by Ohio State works out to their benefit. Amazing. First turnover of the football game. Ohio State's defense must prepare themselves. Game is not over. They could have to go back out on the field one more time. Jim Tressel's telling his guys, no penalties, ball security. The worst thing we can do now is turn the ball over or get a big penalty. If we have to punt, we're at least going to be able to bleed the clock. The other thing he's telling Brent is don't run out of bounds.
Second down for the Buckeyes. Here comes Claret. Stopped after a yard or two. Lazarus, who's played well as a defensive tackle.
That's all their timeouts. So Ohio State will be able to run a play and take another about 40 seconds off of the clock here when they have to, if they have to punt the ball.
So Maurice Claret with 117 yards today, 19 carries.
And So he turned out to be the wild card, huh? He had to come through in this football game. He was itching to go last week, but Tressel rolled the dice and waited for today against Michigan, and it paid off so far. Think they got those TV sets up to 80% today?
There have been so many frustrating moments for Ohio State football teams in the hands of Michigan. The city was so uneasy and anxious and nervous. And the coaches and the players really weren't when we came in here. It has been the fans, and they're not going to breathe easy till the next 2 minutes run off the clock. Florette ducking and diving, but not many, and that's going to bring up a 4th down as Scott McClintock stops in there, steps in there, and Michigan certainly not giving up. Well, today's Chevrolet players in the game. How about Michael Doss? How about the game he played today for Ohio State? Braylon Edwards, the wide receiver, 9 catches, 96 yards, and he looks like he's going to have a great career up at Ann Arbor, but it was Michael Doss, Donnie Nicky. Doss today with 13 tackles, and almost jarred the ball loose for a fumble a short time ago. They ruled it an incomplete pass. He's just a terrific leader there. You saw Nicky back there, number 25. You cannot say enough about these 2 leaders down the middle for Ohio State.
So Michigan will get the ball back with about a minute to go in the game. Both teams have used all of their timeouts. So even if Ohio State, as they burn one here to run the clock all the way, needed in the last minute to take some time, they could not even rest with the timeout.
Let's go down below to Jack.
One of the changes between this Ohio State squad and coaching staff and the one that preceded them was the embracing of this Ohio State-Michigan rivalry. As soon as Jim Tressel arrived here, he didn't treat it like any other game. He said this is the most important game each and every year. And he has done that. He shut down access to the players this week, not because he was concerned, but because that's what goes with the rivalry, Brent, as you know. When we walked into the lockers, it was up on the walls everywhere. Give 110%. Leave it all out on the field. Jim Tressel has embraced the history of this 99-year rivalry and has used it to motivate his players.
You know, Gary, I was looking at Jack down there, and I happen to know on good authority that hat was given to him by a Montana Wrangler by the name of Will Smith.
Ohio State has only had 1 punt partially blocked all year, and that was against Minnesota.
4th down, and here comes the punt. Michigan coming after it, but Broom slams it out of there. Curry on one hop. Gamble can't bring him down. Reynolds is right there, and he's out of bounds at about the 20-yard line. So it's about 80 yards, 58 seconds coming up here for the Wolverines, and the way they can stop the clock, of course, in the NCAA football is with the 1st down. It's a long, long ways to the end zone for Michigan.
And those long-suffering Ohio fans who've lived with the drive from John Elway for the Cleveland Browns and the fumble and Michael Jordan's shot in basketball, and since 1968 here in football, are not resting and relaxing. There's still 58 seconds to go in this game.
Navarre. Incomplete. We're back to Chop Crew to trying to get the ball, and the clock stopped out of bounds. Well, ABC Sports is online at ESPN.com. The keyword is ABC Sports. Get all the scores if you check in with ESPN.com. You know, in the old days, we used to say that none of the networks gave us enough scores. And now if you got a computer, never miss a score. Here comes Navarre, down, firing, incomplete. In and out of Edwards' hands. Wilhelm had dropped back in that zone coverage to help out the DBs that time.
Ohio State, in both plays here, are playing the same prevent coverage. Michael Doss is sitting in the middle of the zone, about 18 or 20 yards deep. Everyone's forcing the ball to the inside. There's number 2. He's going to read the quarterback's eyes and stay right on the inside for all the crossing routes. He's the wild card.
The clock cannot move fast enough for Jim Tressel and the Buckeyes. Incomplete, and Will Allen, the nickel man, number 26, comes up now under 42 ticks and 1 play left for Michigan to keep this going. 4th down and 10.
Perfect time for the prevent defense. You've got your best player in the middle reading the quarterback's eyes and everybody forcing their man towards number 2.
The Big Ten Conference is 42 seconds away from putting its first team ever in a BCS championship game. We are 5 years into that deal, and this would be the first appearance for the Big Ten. Navarre fires, and Wilhelm rides the receiver down, but they'll stop the clock with 35 seconds. And again, John Navarre, that time on 4th down, picking it up. They are 12 of 21, Michigan is, on 3rd down here today, and now they pick up a 1st down on a 4th down. Navarre's been getting tremendous protection, too, against this 3-man rush. On the move, fires back across the grain, and Doss had coverage that time. No chance for a completion.
That's the defense. Force them inside. You can see that this Ohio State defense is going to force everybody. There's a corner, there's a cornerback. They're both faced in. They're saying, you're not getting outside me. We're going to force you into number 2. He's the robber inside, and he's the guy that makes the play and really interferes on the play on that one.
2nd down and 10. Navarre steps up, fires, complete. Again, this time to Bellamy to the 46, still alive. 20 seconds left after the 15-yard gain. And to Jim Tressel, it must seem like time is standing still as the clock is stopped by spiking the ball. But Tressel must be over there saying, where's the Michigan State timer when I need it?
Yeah, right. What's going to happen now is Michigan, no matter what, at the end of the game is going to be able to throw a long one into the end zone for the last play of the game. So this will come down unless they turn the ball over to 1 long pass into the end zone.
Wolverines at the 45. Navarre. And that time Campbell broke it up, but he interfered. So it'll be 15 more yards, and the Wolverines are edging closer and closer.
Ohio State needs to be patient. Michigan is being patient with this drive. Ohio State is not. Campbell, watch this. This is an easy play, but he puts his arm on the back of the receiver. An easy call, pass interference. Doss got away with one early, but you're not going to get away with 2. 14 seconds to go.
Ball at the Buckeye 41-yard line, and they staff helping keep Lloyd off the field. The protected pocket, fires, diving catch. They're inside the 25-yard line with another Bellamy reception. And now 9 seconds on the clock after that 18-yard gain. And here come the Wolverines again. They'll spike it, which they do, Gary. 7 seconds left on the clock. And for Ohio State, their fans, 7 very anxious seconds, folks. And for Michigan, nothing would make them any happier than to deliver the dagger with 7 seconds to go.
And you can see Ohio State cannot take a timeout. They would like to reorganize here, but they used their timeout on that last punt. They're sucking wind right now, and they just have to go with it. Michigan must throw at least for a first down or the end zone.
Navarre hit on the release, does get it. It's out of the end zone. He was hit by Kenny Peterson. Kenny Peterson has played a tremendous game. 1 second left on the clock.
remember, it is not a home timekeeper anymore. That was a change this year. It's an independent play. They are running the clock. The ball sails out, and the independent clock operator says one more snap.
So close and yet so far. The ball will be in Navarre's hands one last time. Fires in zone, intercepted. Let's party, Columbus. Their 29th Big Ten championship, and it is huge as Maurice Clarett, Jim Tressel, and the Buckeyes were ahead to Arizona, where they'll play for all the Tostitos in the Fiesta Bowl on January 3rd. For the first time in history, 13-0, the Buckeyes.
I guess that's the prevent defense to the limit right there, huh? Oh, my.
And that is the epitome of bend and don't break. Let's go to Jack Caruth.
Coach.
Okay, Jack. Okay.
You're headed to the national championship. Congratulations.
Well, I don't know if that's for sure, but I'm sure proud that Ohio State won in the big rivalry. And I tell you what, we're so proud of our kids. They play like crazy. That's the Ohio State-Michigan game, 60 minutes.
But, Coach, 13 games ago, you gritted for the long haul. All of the planning that you and your staff made comes to its fruition today.
I tell you what, it's awful special, and we got great kids, we got great coaches. How about these fans?
And what about the play of Maurice Clarett?
I tell you, he's a tough kid, and we talked early in the week. He was going to play. There's no doubt.
Well, congratulations to you, the team. I know you've got to go pay tribute to the band.
That's right.
And the alumni now.
Thanks, Jack.
A terrific coaching job. But Michigan showed absolutely no quit in this football game. They brought it down, right down to the final tick of the clock, Gary.
And the young defensive back who kept the man in front of him, got the interception, no interference, played it cleanly, and then went down and said, "We're the winners."
So hail to the Buckeyes, who have led it 14-9, and it has been such an incredible year for Ohio State. As you look back at some of their memories, we want to thank some folks. The executive producer of ABC Sports is Howard Katz. The senior producer of ABC Sports is Bob Toms. The coordinating producer and the producer of today's game is Bob Goodrich. It was directed by Larry Camp. The associate producer is Drew Kaliski. The associate director, Brian Fay. Our technical director is Monty Poling. The production manager, Christy Bravey. Technical manager, Mark Towie. Production assistants, the Red Fox and the Sun Devil. The director of production is Mark Loomis. For Jack Caruth and Gary Danielson, I'm Brent Musburger. So long, everybody.